What's up, everybody? I hope everyone's doing great out there. As usual, it's your boy Ace. In this video, I'll be going over the Akai MPC One. Should you buy it? Should you not buy it? Are you on the fence? Maybe you're off the fence. I don't know, one of those things. My likes, my dislikes about the MPC One and my journey with it. So hopefully this video will help you out. Let's jump right in, take a look at the unit. We're gonna do this very quickly. So let's do that now. All right, so here is the MPC One in all of its glory and beauty. And it is a really, really nice, small, beautiful unit. I mean, they really compacted this down and slimmed it up from the other versions like the MPC Touch, the Live, and really shrunk it down for you here. So like all MPCs and most drum pads and, drum machines out there, they have 16 pads off the front. These are smaller than the ones on the Touch and the Live. And so I don't keep repeating Touch and Live, I'll just say the Live, because the Touch is really not relevant anymore at all. Plus it has major issues, but that is a whole nother story, and I'll probably mention it a few times referring back to this MPC One. But anyways, y'all, 16 pads off the front. They're smaller than the Live, as I said earlier. Off the back, you have your standard power cable and connectors, 1/4 inch, your main left and right, then 2 in. Get your MIDI connections as well. USB, 2 USBs, one to work with the software, and then the other would be for storage on that. And I cannot remember the size, but it works great. Save everything to the external drive for sure. MIDI in, MIDI out, as I said, the CV gate to control other outboard gear. I don't really do that. I use just VSTs and things like that. It's just something I don't do, but there's a lot of cool people doing things like that. Of course, your record volume, your master volume, power switch off the back. This is just slightly a little wonky than I like, but not a deal breaker by any means. And then the Ethernet off the back there to connect to Splice. I almost lost my train of thought. I was about to say Sound Loop or SoundCloud. Anyway, standard buttons and control buttons like you see on the Live, and the same thing with the encoder knobs and the Q-Link knobs. Now the Q-Link knobs on this are just like the Live, but and the quality is there. These feel beautiful. This joggle wheel here feels really nice. Button is nice and snappy and engages well. Same thing with those buttons there. All those buttons sound really, really nice. And then these other buttons engage just really beautifully. As I said, this is probably the 3rd time, but you know, I kind of want to emphasize that these pads are much smaller than the ones on the MPC Live, but it's not a deal breaker. And initially I thought, well, are they really that small? But they are not. As a matter of fact, I have this is the same size as they're on the Live, so you have those sizes to compare. Probably not the best way to compare it, but they're just slightly smaller, but not a big deal. Beautiful touch screen, as the Live has as well. I had the MPC Touch, and I will revert back to this MPC Touch story as we go, but the movement on the Touch was really, really nice. Don't get me wrong there, but this flows way better, way faster, much more responsive. So that's really, really a cool piece on this MPC One. On the way front there, on the front you have an 1/8 inch headphone jack as well as an SD card slot. Really nice. So you have multiple storage. You have the USB and you also have the SD card off the front. And I think the highest you can go, I'm gonna say 512, but if it's not 512, then it's 256, but definitely get the extreme for speed purposes. I haven't really used this SD card, I'll be completely honest with you. I've just mainly used this USB drive that I have here. Little tiny drive there, 256. I can put all my expansions on there, and I put all of my, I can't even think here, all my MPC songs, tracks, sessions on the external. And I cannot emphasize that enough, y'all. Make sure you always put your expansions on the external as well as your projects. Put them on there and do that now. And the reason for that is the internal storage of this Akai by default will save to the internal drive. But you just want to obviously change that and tell it to go to your external drive, because once it gets too full, the machine will start running much slower than it was right out the box. So just definitely keep that in mind. And yeah, so just keep that in mind. So, you know, as I said earlier, you have the SD card and the headphone jack, which is a little 1/8 inch jack there. Not a big deal. I wish there was a 1/4 inch jack as well, but like I said, not a big deal, because most pro headphones nowadays come with the 3.5 jack with the adapter on it. I know the Barrier DT770 Pros that you see everyone using, they have that adapter, and so does most modern day headphones out there. So that's really not a big deal breaker for me on this unit. So the build quality on this unit, fantastic. There's just, you know, the power button on the back isn't, you know, it just feels a little wiggly. Like I said, not a big deal on there. But the unit is built very, very well. The quality is outstanding on this unit. To get the feet on the bottom, of course, for it to not rock. I recommend getting some type of stand that can prop up like this, and those are real easy to find. Those are on Amazon. So then you can have it here, and you know, it's much easier to kind of flow with. But that's, once again, that's just opinion based and user based. So when you immediately fire up this unit, which I'm not going to do because we're going to keep this, you know, flowing and very quick, and there's a lot of people doing a lot of in-depth reviews about this unit all over YouTube, so I definitely, you know, recommend you checking those out, especially Loop Pop. That channel, his channel is fantastic. I think it's Loop Op. It is Loop Op. Check his channel out, full lengthy review on this unit. I watched it multiple times because there's so much this unit can do. It's just, there's a lot that it can do. Now, comparing this unit to working on a computer with, you know, MIDI controllers and things like that, I love that world a lot, okay? But they're totally different. They're different worlds. For sure. The computer is going to be much faster in a lot of different ways, but this unit will be faster as well in a lot of different ways. But the computer is going to have more speed and performance over this MPC One. But that's based on different things that you're trying to do with different projects and things like that. For example, the latency on this unit, there is none, because I'm working within the machine in the unit. Even if I have my controller plugged into the back of this and I pull up a VST, there is no latency. I'm right here. Now back into the computer, there is a slight bit of latency, but modern day computers, i7s, which most people have or they're using, and if not, if you have an i5, you can just adjust the sample rate to have it to where it's almost, you know, not noticeable latency, but it is there. So there's a lot of those pluses and minuses that I've been talking about with hardware and software, but I love creating inside the computer with external controllers as well. Like I don't stick to one unit. I use different drum machines, different equipment all the time. It's just what we do. But anyways, with this unit, when you boot it up, it takes about, I think, about 10 seconds, sometimes or less, and that goes back to keeping stuff off of the internal drive and everything on the external. But with this unit, the things that make it slow to a degree is when you're, you know, trying to go through VSTs and you want to hear them, you can't really preview them if you have MIDI information and you're playing something and you can switch VSTs out, that's how you would preview it, but you have to load it up to hear it and do that over and over. So that's where that is rather slow. There may be a way that I'm missing to preview different VST sounds within this unit. Let me know. I would love to know. Now, if I have a project where I've loaded up about, let's just say 15, 20 drum kits, or excuse me, drum kits, different ones, and you know, made a session out of, you know, something out of every one of those kits. When I go to open this session up later, it's gonna take a while to load up. Not like an hour or anything like that, but maybe around, I don't know, 30 seconds to a minute, depending on how much information you have in that main session that you created. And that would be the same thing as if you were running a session within Reason or Logic and you had a whole bunch of VSTs and plugins. The computer's going to take a little bit more time to load that project because there's a lot of different VSTs and plugins that the computer is using. So there's, you know, once again, the pluses, the minuses, and how different equipment works. So that would kind of be, for me, the only like negative about this unit is, I guess, speed in which, with the loading and the way to preview, the software itself, the internal software, yeah, it's okay. It's not, you know, it's the MPC software internally. Until they, you know, redo that, you're stuck with it. The MPC software that goes onto the computer, now that's just okay. For me, that's kind of like a 5. But when you use it with, out of 10, 5 out of 10. So when you use it though with the Akai MPC One or any, you know, Live or the Touch to the MPC software, it does work obviously really well with dragging different samples onto the pads and doing some more edits with the mouse. And then you can also use, you know, get hands-on with it here. But the MPC software, it's just okay. For free, it's good. You know, check it out, it's free. They have like the MPC Beats, I think it's what it's called. I think it's what it's called, free. But check that out. I haven't used it, but it's exactly the same thing as the MPC Studio software, except it's limited. So yes, I have used it. I was gonna say I haven't used it, but I have used the real version, and I get more with the real version. But anyways, y'all, if you're gonna buy this unit, one of the things I highly recommend with any gear, this gear back here, the SSL 6 is back there, the Akai, if I said that twice, that's the centerpiece. But I highly recommend buying your gear used with a 30-day warranty. So on the 29th day, if you don't like it, take it back and away you go. But anyways, you need to have the software for this unit for it to work with the controller and the MPC software. But you can always use the free version for that. So that resolves the problem. But also, you don't need the software, external software for this unit here. Obviously, you can work with it standalone or with the software in the computer. I normally use it actually like 90% of the time, 95% of the time. I've been using it with just in standalone mode and loading up a whole bunch of kits. Now, the way to get it out, to export it, there is a way to do it. I'm not going to go into huge depth, but you can export the entire session and bring it into the MPC software or the WAV files into whatever DAW you want and mix it there. That's generally what I do, and I'm sure a lot of other people are doing the exact same thing. Yeah, I thought I would make that little piece there. I'm trying not to go in depth, but you know, I'm trying to stay on the path and not veer off the path. Guys and gals out there, I also just want to reiterate that the things that you do on this unit standalone obviously are so different than the way working inside of the computer. Similar, but different, of course, but there is a totally different sound that you get when you use external gear in machines like this, or the Machina, or you know, any of the Roland series, what is it, SP series, MV series of the Roland, any of that gear that's external, they have a particular sound to them. And the only way to explain it is for you to, you know, go to a Guitar Center and play with one in that little electronics center they have, and demo it out and go, okay, this is cool. You know, I could rock with this. But I mean, these are great. To chop samples up in this unit is fantastic. And I'm telling you, I can get cooking within this very, very quickly. Now, is this for beginners? You're gonna really need to read the manual and look at YouTube tutorials, because the way MPC flows with setting up the tracks and sequencers and projects and things like that and key groups, that can get confusing to you. It got confusing to me. Maybe it's not confusing to you, but it can be a little bit confusing. But the manual, you can walk right through it, and there's a lot of people on YouTube that are there to help, so that's fantastic. I recommend doing that if you're new to this MPC world. But this unit, y'all, for me, is really, man, it's really probably gonna be a 9 out of 10. You know, I worked a lot with out of the box for a long time. So, I mean, excuse me, in the box using outboard controllers for a long, long time. And then, you know, I had an MPC 2000 XL back in the day, and I sold that, and I really never went back to those type of machines for a while. I mean, I did, but I just never really kept them around. I have an MPC 404. I had an SP 555. I had a 909 Groove Box, which was so cool. I wish I had that to this day. And the 555 I still wish I had. But anyways, like, the history of drum machines. What I'm saying is the improvement over time with the drum machines and MPC has been outstanding. They've really have withstood the test of time and evolved quite well in this in the drum machine world and sampling and all in this hip hop world. Sampling, hip hop world, everything. They've done such a great job. Now, is all their gear great? No, totally not. The MPC Touch, I got reintroduced back into beat making, you know, using, you know, external beat gear, and that was one of the first pieces of gear I bought, I think like 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago. And man, it had some issues, but when I finally got it working, it was fantastic to use. But that's if you could get it to work, and it had a display link issue, so don't mess with the Touch. Do not get it, do not get it, do not get it. Get the Live, get the One, get the Live 2. I can't remember, there's something else that's out, but do not get the MPC Touch. So you're fair warned. But anyways, y'all, this is definitely a 9 out of 10 for me. I say the only negatives would be the load time, and not initial boot up, but load time of projects, and then being able to preview some VSTs sounds would be great. I think there's probably a way. Somebody let me know if there is a way, but that can be not very time effective. One of the things they also could have done, and once again, it's not a deal breaker, but eventually I'm sure they're going to address this issue. Not everyone is going to be near their modem to run hardline into the back of this unit. So putting in a Wi-Fi card inside this, or having a Wi-Fi card built into this unit, would have been fantastic and made this a 10 out of 10. Because, you know, my router's all the way downstairs. I do have a switch up here that I could tether it to and run it, but I still have to run it like 25 feet or more, and that's just not happening. So to download the splice sounds, you know, you plug in Ethernet here, go to Splice, and then sign into your account, and then you can download them like that. But, you know, really, the easy bypass for that's why this isn't that big a deal, but I would love to have them put the wireless card in these units moving forward. But like I said, you can get cooking with this unit very, very quick, and I will absolutely have a video, and I'm gonna show how quickly you can get cooking with the Akai MPC One or the Live It's all the same flow. Very quickly. This thing has definitely inspired me in a lot of ways when I'm just like, when I'm working inside the box and I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm just not feeling it in here. I fire up this MPC and I just get cooking right away, and I'm turning the knobs and, you know, hitting the pads, and there's just something about that that just inspires me and feels like awesome. So, you know, I highly recommend, if your friend has one of these, mess around on that unit at his or her house, or go to a place to demo these out. This unit is awesome. It really is. They've done a really good job, so bravo to them. And I wasn't gonna go back because of that MPC Touch. So there was a heck of a deal going on, and I saw the moment to get it, and I did. So I'm real happy about this purchase. And you know, gear is subjective. People may hate working with these units and they just prefer being in the box, and that's awesome too. I like both. I like working on here. The iPad is fantastic. In the box is fantastic. It's all great. But anyways, y'all, that's my 2 cents on this unit here. It's really, you know, hopefully this video helped you out on your journey on maybe if you should buy it or if you shouldn't buy it. Hopefully this brought some insight, you know, to y'all out there. And I'll definitely be putting out some more videos with this unit showing how quickly that you can get cooking on the MPC One, as long as you have the basics down about how to use it. You can get cooking very, very quickly, and, you know, chopping samples and all that as well. But yeah, I hope everyone has a great day out there. I'll try to continue, you know what? Let me rephrase that. I will start putting out more content and doing the best I can to put that out with the time that I have. So it's all about time management, right? But I hope everyone has a great day, night, or afternoon, depending on when you're checking this out. If you like any of the videos, hit subscribe. You could be subscriber number 80. I think I'm at 75 or 76. You never know. But I hope everyone has safe holidays out there. I'm officially on vacation, so let the vacation begin. My name is Ace. I will see you next time. Don't forget to smile. Make somebody else smile too. I'll see you next time, y'all.